Welcome to Barnstable Today. I'm Nick Cortez. It's Friday, and once again, it's time to take a look at some of the highlights from this week's discussion on our daily talk show, Barnstable This Morning. On Tuesday, March 30th, we were the first to hear from Police Chief Paul McDonald about an act of great generosity from a Barnstable resident that helped to keep the department's motorcycle patrol unit whole. The police department recently benefited from a really generous act by one of our residents. Tell us all about it.
Well, as you well know, we have a motorcycle patrol within our department. We have 4 Harley-Davidson motorcycles. Over the past 10 years, these motorcycle patrols have been totally funded through the Commonwealth of Massachusetts Community Policing Grant. That grant is no longer in existence. Out of those 4 motorcycles, 2 of them we own. The other 2 we lease on a yearly basis, and we pay for that lease through the Community Policing Grant. The lease expired as of January 1st, and we were notified by Harley-Davidson as they wanted their motorcycles back. And what we did, we went into negotiation with Harley-Davidson is because they want to keep their product out on the street. They want the police market, so to speak. They worked out a pretty good deal. They were willing to sell us both the lease motorcycles for $24,000. We went to the town for approval. The town management was all for the idea. However, the funding was going to be a problem. We tried to fund it within our current budget, and as times as they are, that was very difficult. Through the assistance of the assistant town manager, Mr. Lynch, he knew a person, Lee McGraw, who is a resident of the village of Osterville, told her what the situation was. And she is a member of the McGraw family, also represents the Elizabeth B. McGraw Foundation. And she said, well, geez, I think we could help the police department out. They got together, the whole McGraw family got together down in Florida, and they voted, and believe it or not, they voted to give the town of Barnstable and the police department $20,000 to purchase the 2 motorcycles, which is really incredible. The
success of Barnstable's own American Idol, Siobhan Magnus, is a topic of conversation all over town these days. And this past Wednesday, March 31st, Siobhan was on the mind of Hyannis Main Street Bid Interim Executive Director Elizabeth Werfbane. She talked about the possibilities of what might happen here in town if Siobhan advances deep into the competition.
Is she going to win in the end? I don't know, but I think she'll make it to the last 4 because I think she stands out as well as a good 3 others stand out as fabulous. And if that's the case, we are prepared because what happens is in about a month, if you count down from 10 because one leaves every week, in about, the 3rd week in May, 2nd or 3rd week, it's possible if she makes it in the top 4 that they would come here and make a film clip.
Yeah.
That would be shown on national TV, and it would include a live performance and a parade with a motorcade and, ticker tape and all this beautiful kind of, all the accoutrements that come with this sort of, arrival. And I looked at Chris Allen's arrival in Conway, Arkansas, and there were 20,000 people in a public park. It was like, Michael Jackson coming from a spaceship. Everyone was screaming and crying. So that's possible. That could happen to our little Cape Cod, our little Barnstable.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I really hope it does happen. And as I've been saying on the show many times, and I'll say it one more time, Siobhan is a top 3 contestant minimum. Yep. Even with the bad performance last night, she is clearly one of the best 3 competitors on that show. And that's just one man's opinion, but I know I'm not alone, and obviously you think it as well. So we're on the same page here, and that's good. Now talking about that, supposing that she does make it so far, and I really don't want to jinx this thing. I really don't. Supposing something like that does happen, are there conversations that are beginning to be had about how we might deal with this?
Well, little rumblings, because again, it's supposed and no one wants to jump too far ahead, but we would be prepared if she were to have a parade that Main Street would be a good place to have it, because also she worked here. So it's authentic. I wouldn't put it somewhere that wouldn't, be authentic to her. And the high school would be an authentic location for her to sing because she was, a well-known person at Barnstable High School with John Sullivan, and she was in Beauty and the Beast, and she was in about 12 different productions there. So she has a real link. And a real link to Main Street because she was the apprentice to the glassblower, Morrison Glassworks.
On Thursday, April 1st, 3 Bays Preservation Executive Director Lindsay Council joined us on our water protection segment. Among many other topics, he gave us his assessment of the health of the 3 Bays system. I just want to ask you for an overview of the health of the 3 Bays system at present.
Well, the three-bay system is typical of many of the estuary systems on the south side of the Cape. It's being polluted from north to south. The principal areas of critical concern are the Warrens Cove, Prince's Cove, North Bay area, and the water quality improves the closer you move to Nantucket Sound. So what we've learned over the years is that the collection of nitrogen as it comes through the watershed is gradually seeping into our bays and causing the pollution north to south and then on out into Nantucket Sound. The interesting thing about Nantucket Sound is in our research over the years, we had to expand our research area to include the Sound. And we found that even Nantucket Sound is showing signs of nitrogen pollution degradation as opposed to pure open water out off of Nantucket, for example. So the pollution is there, it's growing, and we need to deal with it.
And there are certainly many factors, and I feel like I've been saying a lot that will be a future conversation. But at least I'm giving our viewers a lot to look forward to. I hope you guys out there are ready to learn a lot more about this. I think the big question is, why should people care?
Well, it's a growing problem. Our research has documented the fact that it's not getting any better, water pollution. It's beginning to impact drinking water wells. We have seen nitrate levels in the drinking water increase gradually over the years, and we need to really sit down and decide what areas in the town need to be sewered, not only to protect the estuaries, but the ponds, the drinking water supplies. All of these areas need to be addressed so that we can get ahead of the pollution and keep the Cape as pristine water-wise as it can be, because this really is it's a foundation.
The start of the Major League Baseball season is literally just hours away, which made Friday, April 2nd, the perfect time to debut a brand new segment on Barnstable This Morning, featuring representatives from our own world-famous Cape Cod Baseball League. Our first guest was CCBL Public Relations Director John Garner, who gave us a brief overview of the league's rich history. John, I think everybody has heard of the Cape Cod Baseball League that lives here, and probably most people have been to a game or two, but I'm willing to bet that comparatively few people know a whole lot about what it means historically, both to the Cape and to baseball in general. So, if you would, could you give us an overview of how the CCBL came to be what it is today?
Sure. It really came out of the Civil War, where the Union soldiers played baseball, were introduced to baseball by their brethren from the city. I think really the game started in New York City as street ball, and they picked it up, and they came back and brought it back, and to celebrate July 4th, there would always be a baseball game between towns, and the first one we can get our hands on was the game between Sandwich and Barnstable, believe it or not, in Sandwich in 1869.
Wow.
And that was really the front runner of the Cape League. The towns then started playing more games against each other, and most of the players were local from here. And that all kind of started to change a little bit around World War I. With the players coming back, we started getting more college players, and then the league became structured, reorganized in 1923 to actually have an organization with 6 teams, and then, in 1963 it was sanctioned by the NCAA, and so it was a college summer league, so with just college players after that. And then the other big date would be 1985, when the leagues changed from aluminum to wood bats, and that's when Major League Baseball really started to take notice. And today we have 217 players in the major leagues that played in the Cape League, and overall we've had over 800 players in the major leagues that came out of the Cape.
As always, if you'd like to see these complete interviews, all past Barnstable This Morning episodes are available to watch on demand at the town's website. That's town.barnstable.ma.us. Well, that's all for now. Everybody have a great weekend. I'm Nick Cortez, and we'll see you next time on Barnstable Today.